Let's take a look at some of the distribution tools available to you in Illustrator CS3. Of course, I have my Align panel out, but when you select objects like so, you'll also notice that we have the Align options in our control panel, and we can access the Distribute tools from here as well. I like to have this out just in case because I like to just quickly play around with the options. Now, I've selected all these objects, and earlier we talked about how to align them. Well, distribute means we can distribute them equally with space that is calculated by ourselves. We can enter it here. So if I click on an object like this, you'll notice that we will get a dialog box asking us to choose a key object. What Illustrator is asking us is to select an object that will be the basis for the distribution. For example, here I'm trying to choose vertical distribute top. So it wants to know which object is going to be the key object to base that on. So I'll go ahead and choose this one here. I'll click on it. Now normally you would expect this to deselect everything else, but it doesn't do that here. So now let's go ahead and click on this option and see that everything will distribute itself vertically based on what we selected. So I'm going to undo that, and this time I'll click on this one and let's see what happens. You see that? Everything distributes itself based on what we clicked on, which is known as the key object. So I'm going to undo that one more time and show you that we can also use some of the spacing options here. So we can also distribute things in a vertical fashion or a horizontal fashion. And when I discussed alignment tools, we talked about this artboard option. We can turn that on as well to turn everything that we enter here into an artboard kind of lock on kind of thing. So it will lock on to your artboard. So I'm going to turn that on, and then I'm going to click here where it says horizontal distribute space. So I'm going to click on a key object, which will be this guy, and I'm going to enter my own number. So I'm going to put 50 points. So I'll put 50, and I'll go ahead and put PT for point. I'll hit the return key on my keyboard, and then I'll click this button. So everything's going to have exactly that much space in between it as it distributes itself. So what I can do again is click on another object, enter another parameter, or put it on auto, and hit this button and see what happens. So once again, I'm going to type a number. I'll put something like 5 point. I'll hit return on my keyboard, and as we see, that's translated for us. Click this button, and it's asking me to click a key object, so I'll click this again, and now everything's going to have the exact amount of spacing. It's hard to tell because everything is so distributed all over the place instead of being in a nice row. So let's go ahead and put everything in a row now, and you'll see that that spacing takes place. So I'm going to increase this number to 20. Then I'll go ahead and hit this button, and that amount of space is now put in between each of these objects. So using the distribute objects in conjunction with distribute spacing and turning on artboard or turning it off will really help you to align objects and distribute them wherever you like them to be in your artwork. This can be handy when you want to create something like bricks that are going to be distributed equally on a piece of artwork or anything else that needs to be precisely aligned or distributed.